At long last, I get to finish this review. I was spending most of it editing, like, just this crap I'm just gonna put in this review. Some overlays in my share factory. But man, oh man, this game deserves so much more praise than it ever got. And it's like a game I keep coming back to for all like the right and wrong reasons. The right reasons being, the gameplay, the combat, exploration, weapon upgrades, equipment, etc., right? Finding out new stuff. But the thing I keep coming back for is its originality, right? So in part two, I'm just gonna show off briefly like all the weapons available to your player character, and as you collect them, they'll just like rack up on these aisles for your weapons. So you can see like the variety. You have flamethrowers, you have chemical both launchers that just launch like a projectile, and then one that shoots like a spray, acid sprayer. You have sniper rifles, bazookas, charge laser rifles, which you hold it with two hands, two-handed weapon, but then you charge it up. Fires this like high-powered beam. Then you have shotguns, rifles, energy rifles, machine guns, pistols, knives, swords. Like it has pretty much anything that you can think about. Two-handed swords, shields, knuckle weapons. It just has everything. But you know what else it has? Music. Yeah. Just listen to this shit. Oh yeah. This is
I'm
what I
always
did. I
happy
went
to
out of
take
my way to
requests.
like, put all these filters and stuff to make this review more entertaining. I actually can't even hear the audio, so I'm just like assuming that you can hear it and my voice is audible. I'll probably have to edit it. Dude! Yeah, the music in this game is just so well done and well made that I tend to just put my music volume to 10. Like maybe not all the tracks are of that quality, but I personally like a bit, like specifically these three. Oh
I'm always
wait,
happy to take
it's such a
requests.
familiar sound. Where have I heard this one before? Oh no, it's bringing back the memories. The memories, man. The memories of Zone of the Enders. That's right. Your mind's blown now, because now you don't even know what to make of it. How are you supposed to make sense of this game? It just has so much cool music inside of it. Do I start playing this game? Do I start dancing? What do I do? Oh man, it's celebration, man. Just like light some fireworks. Good ass music, it's a hot track. Yeah, when you get this game, you might like some of the music, or
I'm
you
always
might
happy to
not.
take requests.
Like this was one of the first ones that I liked. Yeah, man. It's like, are you playing a video game or are you entering into a nightclub? Oh yeah. Break down to some of those beats. Your character actually gets animations for dancing and stuff. I didn't put it on my character. I'm just so lazy. Just doing all these other things, like playing the game. I actually spent like a lot of time messing with the mutation stuff. So, and the reason why I'm not showing it off is because like I wasn't happy with it. I'm just like, why did I make this? And then I just like, didn't show it off. But let me show off the customization. As you can clearly see, like this mech isn't supposed to be looking this way. I put that, Japanese rising sun on the chest. On the crotch, it says Yokozuna. It says so because it told me. And then you can put all these various decals. The thing though with the decals is you have to go out into the environment and scan and find them basically. But once you found them, it's there. It's yours for the keeps. The rest you just like unlock them from doing basic stuff like playing card games, ranking up in the arena, beating the game, increasing your rank. Surprisingly, I'm still stuck at like rank 23. I'm so lazy. I'm probably gonna like binge all night, just doing all the missions to see if that'll like increase my rank by the time the DLC comes on the next 2 days. And speaking of which, it's like I was mostly inspired to make this review because a good friend of mine is coming out with his review on Monster Hunter Wilds, and like I am done with everybody trashing the game But at the same time, like I'm willing to maintain an open mind when it comes to like actual fans of the series, because who am I to say whether or not Monster Hunter Wilds is good or not? But I was just like, okay, well, I could wait until the DLC to form like a more extensive opinion, but it's like I'm not known for my professionalism or my like anything, like my studious nature, my editing, my volume on the videos as I speak and stuff. It's all straight from the hip, as they say. You know, very organic, if you will. Which like if you were expecting like layers upon layers of customization, like you get an armor core where you can just like affix, your logos or your decals anywhere. It's not the game. But what you do have in this game is it's free like roam nature, where you could just find like literal secrets just going pretty much anywhere. Like I'm actually wondering how people figured out like going to the top of this like building for like basically hours will get you to the top eventually. I don't know how they figured that out. I don't know if they had like some cheat or like they were just, bored or something. But that's like the fun of this game, meeting new people, finding new builds. This guy has a build where he's always in heavy armor, and even though technically it counts down, like his counts down very little, and he just needs people to heal him, so he stays in it forever basically. But what do I get involved with? Well, this is what I like to do. The fusion stuff to like change your character. Because it's like you have all the different mech suits, right? And like a lot of people will argue that because you can pretty much put anything except for weapons right now layered, it takes away from the identity of like, okay, you're in a heavy mech, but like, you're walking around in this like, skinny grasshopper looking, robot suit type thing. Which I understand to an extent, but it's kind of like the reverse of how I feel about Monster Hunter Wilds, which is, funny how I brought it up. Because it's like I feel as if you shouldn't have layers for your weapons unless it's like the Ardians or like just some basically ugly weapon that you just don't like to look at. But like for like actual like monster weapons and all that stuff, they should always remain the appearance, and they should have more quirks and stuff. Whereas in this game, it's kind of like the opposite, where the weapons are your mech's identity, whereas like your appearance is more or less your stats. How high you jump, how fast you move, how much defense you have, etc. Right? So it's like when I was changing my character up like this, right? I was thinking to myself, not that many games have this, like this bio mecha organic type of thing, hybrid, where it's all these genres just like mesh together so seamlessly. Almost like it harkens back to those olden times where I think people, if you didn't grow up playing games, if you didn't grow up like watching TV shows and animes that had basically like life-sized people type things, like if I'm going to make the most close comparison, it will probably be Power Rangers, because most Westerners know about that. And even though it started off as something else in Japan, like just having characters, dressed up in these like, Power Ranger, costumes and stuff, and doing martial arts. Like you're not gonna get that in this game. It's more or less like just robot fighting at its finest, but like the whole aspects of like how your mech moves and how it feels. It's actually reminds me oddly enough of a game called Prototype, where your character can like do all these like crazy abilities and stuff, but as you like level up your character, much like my character in this game, you start to change. You get like different, looking hands, and like, by the end of the game, you get like an armor suit, which is, I think, that's like very much in the style of Guyver and like those old school anime, biomechanical, like 80s, popcorn Saturday morning cartoon type things. Just like, you're not going to see those types of things around anymore because of the hyper realistic violence in them. Because the way they used to draw those animes is like, you would see it and you'd be like, wait, that's Japanese anime? It's like, yeah. And like the characters don't look, with the big anime eyes. You have to basically dig deep into the VHS era of anime to like, understand what I'm talking about. And I don't even understand what I'm talking about. I will just like see these things, after the fact. And like the cultural impact that it had on me was like basically non, existent. But here I am showing off the skills that you get when you like defeat these basically the biomechanical monsters known as the immortals. And then you take their DNA. But you also defeat bosses, which are also, they also have the same, bio DNA, whatever, that like helps you mutate into your like, more they call them immortals in this game. Uh so cool. You can take off pretty much every single part of your armor except for your legs, and I think a YouTuber pointed out that that's like a throwback to Rocket Boy, right, from the Japanese old cartoon. uh no, Astro Boy, sorry. I can't believe I got that mixed up. Damn. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Like, do I want my character to like not wear absolutely utterly anything, like no leg armor, nothing? Um, if they make more gene upgrades and like the gene upgrades look pretty cool, like I will probably want the legs, but I won't like, it's not the end of the world because the armor, using the armor with the mutations actually yields good results. Like you're gonna have a character that doesn't look like, a hodgepodge. Although, and I have to bring this up, there are people who like that, the kind of like mecha fantasy where you're half robot, half schoolgirl. I'm serious. Yeah, you could do that in this game. Not that I would like recommend it, but like you even have a cosmetic option to change it so your character looks like the OC that you created from the beginning of the game. So all this like, glowing stuff and like the parts coming out and like, off the back, the shoulders, all that stuff just goes away, and you're just like looking at your like your character or whatever, and then like you just like fly around. I don't know why people like that, so I do know why. I just don't want to know why. I don't want to. I know, and now I wish I didn't. type type of thing. But like, why can't people be like me? You know, design this like predator goat xenomorph thing. I thought about like what I would call this character, and I was thinking about calling it the predator morph because it's like I could have called it the preda alien or predomorph, but like it comes off as pedomorph. So I was like predator morph. That'll be the name of this character. It even has like, cloth physics on his dreads, which is really cool. I know I showed off this PvP thing in my like dumbass combo video that probably nobody watched. No, I think people like watched it, but it's just like it's so irrelevant now because again, like people are so hypercritical of this game that over the fact that it has no multiplayer, and I'm like, why does it need multiplayer? Like, what benefit would you get from like getting in a sweaty like basically like button mashing match with your enemies? And I know for a fact that there's probably like certain weapons out there that are super imbalanced, and they're probably figuring this stuff out so that like people don't purposely abuse it, because like, there's a lot of guides out there and a lot of like helpful guys that will just like pretty much show off whatever, right? And here I'm just showing off like the differentiation between having full armor and having like partial armor, having most of it removed. You can remove the chest, the head, the arms. Again, like they said, like the legs always stay, but then you can just like there's like after the game's campaign, there's basically 3 to 4 things you could do. You can hunt inside of facilities, which is this game's dungeons. So you go to like room to room finding monsters. Some of them have like puzzles where you can like collect items and whatever. And then you go to the end of the that like section, and usually when you find these like facility keys, they'll tell you how many floors they have. So you just like fill out, like go around the entire room, kill all monsters, open the doors, collect all the loot, and just go from room to room. Sometimes they'll have these gargoyle statues that you have to break, and they'll have like really good like items inside of them. And then the other one is you go inside of caves, and it's kind of the same thing, except most of the time like the loot is a lot less. And shout outs to Prodigy Gaming because he was the one who showed me this. Like you used to be able to find good loot, and before they nerfed it, it's just like what's the point of going in there? But sometimes you get like missions where you go in caves and stuff. You can find like some cool stuff inside of it. Um, the third thing you can do, and I think I showed that off in my first review video, which is like treasure hunting, beacon hunting as it's called. So you just find like a treasure map, the beacon map, and then you fast travel or just travel to the closest location and search around that general area. And then once it says beacon detected, you start touching your scan mode, and then like searching the ground to see if you find like a humanoid type character that is cratered into the ground, and then you can find their loot and collect it. Pretty cool stuff. And the fourth thing you could do in this game is like fight monsters and like get their equipment, so armor, weapons, specifically boss characters. So they'll drop a core. So you just like refight that same boss over and over again to like get the core and then build the arm part, chest parts, leg, head, right? Weapons. It has so much more to do than just like, okay, do well at this mission and then we'll give you like a reward. We'll pat you on your head or rub your belly like you're a good little boy. It's like it really does. It's way more of a respect of your time than just like your average button masher, because again, like you can play it with so many different weapons, so many different skills, so many different appearance setups and stuff. Although people could argue that um, the layered feature takes away from the impact of carrying specific parts on your arsenal, which is fine. You could just turn it off then, like, and then you're just playing the game with the developers designed parts, right? So you'll have like, so on my character right now, I have the pilot's jumping legs, and they're not bad looking legs. They're just very small. And then to have that on my character right now, it looks a little on the weird side. So I just did a layer skin over it. Now, are they right about saying that? Like, absolutely, but like sometimes you just want to have fun. You want to play games, and you want to just not care about like these crazy ass rules. Like, case in point, there are so many times in Armor Core I want to use a specific hit, or I want to use like whatever, and because the stats are so absolutely terrible for these specific parts, just I don't use them. Like I even had like a build that got me pretty high in the ranked arena. But because once you're up there and people know, oh, you have that stability head with a low stability, okay, let me just take advantage of you. Sometimes you just gotta play games and enjoy your games. Well, thank you for watching my review. Hopefully part 3 is gonna come out soon.